So, y'all, we need to talk about this because I
Legitimately.
cannot tell you. I don't even want to say I was marking out because I feel like that's like doing a disservice to like appreciating what Cody did. Because Mark has a negative connotation, but I was so here for this. And for anybody who thought that Cody was soft or whatever, I feel like this was shades of AEW Cody Rhodes, but like better. And as the banner said, I would say that this was his best promo to date, since he came back to WWE, and I am here for it. So I'm not going to break down every single teeny tiny thing that he said, but I am going to go with the most iconic quotes because, come on, I've watched this like 3 times. Like, that's how good it was.
I think I
Um,
have too.
so Cody wants to come out and address The Rock because obviously every time The Rock is saying anything about Cody or Seth, he is saying it to the audience. Cody and Seth are almost not ever there. So Cody's like, all right, well, I'm going to take this opportunity. But he makes sure to say The Rock didn't want to be here, which I was like, that is a nice way to spin it because it's possible that that is true, at least in our world. Um, but he wanted to address something that The Rock has been saying a lot in his videos that he's been posting to social media and how he is referring to himself as everyone's favorite heel. And I'm sorry, but I love how he was like, that's some insider language, but we're not dumb. We all know what it means. And I was like, see, this is the way to go
Yeah.
about it instead of being the Chris Jericho being like, you can't say those insider terms,
Yeah, I'm so happy you brought that up just because I like how we're in this era of we know what the buzzwords are,
Yeah.
like if we're not stupid anymore. So
Yeah.
just go into it and it makes for a better show because it makes you actually think creatively.
Well, and I'm sorry, but like if you're somebody like me that watches interviews with some of the guys from like the 80s and 90s, they drop these terms like all the time when they're talking about
Yeah,
their careers and stuff, and they're doing it like that's just natural. And I
'cause that's
always
all
talk
they
about
know.
I always talk about Scott Hall, but Scott Hall always was saying like heel, baby face, like gimmick. Like he's always saying those things. And I'm like, all right, if this dude is fine with it, then I'm gonna take his word for it
That's your
because
guy.
you being a little baby about fans using it in the year 2024, like there's something wrong with you. Um anyway, so he says that Rock has been saying he's our favorite heel, but he says, you know what, Rock, I don't think you're a heel. I think you're an asshole. And I was like, oh, straight fire already. We're already getting the
Right
cursing.
from the hip.
Yes. He talks about how The Rock was making fun of him for crying on last week's Raw when he was talking about his mom and being able to give the title to his mom. And he's like, well, haven't you been crying behind the scenes this whole time? And I'm like, oh my God, this man is me. This man is me. He's like, I mean, I'm reading direct quote. I mean, once that hashtag came out, once they started chanting something else, you went and cried to your buddies on the TKO board and you said, hey, this is going to be some good PR for The Rock. I need to save WWE. And then Cody says, God, no, we need saving, right? Look at this house. And I'm like, exactly. This is what I've been saying. Like the idea that they had to have The Rock involved, that they had to have CM Punk involved because they had to save WrestleMania. It's like, guys, they've been selling out shows for like the past year and a half. What do you mean? Like, they're fine.
9 straight TV sellouts.
Yeah, but
9
and they're
straight.
selling out house shows. Like you're trying to, and that's like you're not going to see all your favorites at a house show. The only constant seems to be Cody Rhodes. Like you're not going to see Roman. You're not going to see Seth. You're not going to necessarily see Becky. Like these are people that don't do every single house shows. So like the fact that they're selling out, that's telling you more than the live shows selling out. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Raws and SmackDowns. I mean, um, this was another one that I love too when he said that the TKO folks that they were like, "Yes, Rock, put on your Gucci shirt. Your muscles, your muscles look so big. Yes, yes, yes." I was dying.
It's oh my
Um,
god, like, I love this whole thing. Oh, yeah, keep going with your quotes because
okay,
I wanna hear them all before I say my
okay.
piece
And
because
he said,
I wanna relive it.
those people that are around you, they are yes people, they are enablers, they do not tell you like it is. So I'm going to do that. He said, Rock, you are a lot of wonderful things, but you are also a terrible salesperson, a carny succubus, and for those of you who don't know what that means, you're a whiny bitch. And this is the thing that I love about Cody too, because Cody has this one face where like when he's a heel, he like makes certain faces, and he kept doing that like after he
He
dropped these
did.
one-liners.
He's
And so I was like, all
yeah.
of the old school Cody fans know what that face means, because
Yeah.
it's like going so against like who he is as a real person that it's like he always like, and it's like, yeah, because he's like
Mhm.
not used to having to be vicious, you know. Um, and
Vicious, yeah,
then
good.
here are a couple other really great lines. The last ones I would say. He talks about how Rock hasn't been in a match, hasn't been in the ring for a very long time. It's been what, 10 years or more. I forget what they said. Um,
Mhm.
and he said, so what happens when the bell rings? Is it going to be big Dwayne energy? Or is it going to be LDS, little dick syndrome? And I was like, King.
Yeah,
I was
like,
like, Cody, stop it right now.
a and that's
Um,
why I love this. Oh, is there a
I have
no,
one
that's
more.
where
And
oh,
then
okay.
he's talking about WrestleMania, and he says, but at WrestleMania, I don't think you're going to be the final boss, as he's calling himself now. I think you're going to be Roman's side chick. And I was like, best for anyone who ever questioned if Cody can talk on the mic, he can. This also proved that he can be your top babyface and deliver a stellar promo. Also proved that he can be your top heel. Because if this was a heel promo against The Rock, it'd be fire too. Like this could be both ways. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
change a couple
absolutely.
words, and it would have been fine. I'm like, I think he's probably going to end up being the new John Cena, where they don't. Uh,
Yeah,
they don't change
he's
him,
just Cody. Like,
but
he's Cody is Cody.
he was in the kitchen. He had a frying pan. He had The Rock in it, and I was here for it because from I don't think that's I wouldn't say that The Rock has been cooking Cody or Seth as many as other people would say. I think he's had his moments, but this was like Cody getting straight to the point, laying it out there, getting his insults out that made sense. And it didn't take 20 minutes to do it. So that's why I'm like, shout out to you, Cody. Shout out to you.
The b What I loved about this was that it was Cody spoke so well, and, like,
Mm.
that's the one thing that just captivated me was that the way he did it, all those jabs, digs, whatever you wanna call them, could have been, kind of 90s and over your head, like,
Or
over
corny,
the
could have come
head,
off kind of
corny,
corny.
very
Yeah.
corny, but they were very strategically placed and said properly. I mean, he referenced names on the TKO board and part of his writing team, but he did it with just like say pretty much like he was talking to them,
Like he meant
addressing
it.
them.
It's like he
Yeah,
meant
oh
it.
yeah. And it's like it kind of leads to a question I saw on Twitter X whatever is that The Rock has been getting some causing memos to get put out about social media and PG behavior. Then Cody comes out and does something like this. Do we see that the PG can go away, or is this more just it's got to get to that level?
I think that I think that they might be able to steer away from the PG once they go to Netflix. Obviously Netflix
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
have censors, like if you're watching something on Netflix that you're going to see explicit content, whether it's visual or audio. Um, so I think that they might have a little bit more leniency there, but I think in this instance, I'm sure there is some truth to talent backstage that are a little bit frustrated that The Rock is getting some preferential treatment because on one hand, you understand it's The Rock, like you're not going to tell him what to do necessarily. But at the same time, these are people who are there every single week, and being able to drop an asshole or a bitch every now and then would actually like elevate a promo or a conversation that they're having with someone. And the fact that they're being told that they can't do it, but then The Rock is out there nearly dropping F bombs, like I can understand why they'd be frustrated. So I think maybe in a way this was a little strategic to be like either to take the heat off The Rock, maybe, or get people to kind of like stop looking at these reports or whatever. Or and or I would say, I think that yeah, it depends on the situation. I feel like if Cody went out there and didn't say these things, then it wouldn't hit as hard as it did. You know what I mean? Because then it would
Mhm.
feel like kind of a kindergarten response to, the senior high school bully. You know what I mean? And it's like you can't
Mhm.
really come back with soft, taps, like slaps when he's coming out here with huge punches. Like you need it to be equal for the feud to stand, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if
Yeah,
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense,
So,
but
like, I get what you mean.
yeah, so I think that in this instance it's just like it felt necessary and so Cody took advantage of it. Um but as far as them continuing that, I'm not sure. At least not until they get to Netflix. At least that's what I think.
Mhm.
Um
Makes sense.
but yeah,
Okay. I can
uh
see that.
people in the comments were like this was so great. You can pick if you want.
Um, Cody made a lot of great points.
And
Yeah.
that's the other thing that I was saying. It's like he really
Ate
did,
rock, huh?
Almighty. And that's why I think like um I think that this was like the perfect moment for Cody to have this promo because I think that yeah, it had looked like he wasn't as tough or mean or like he was just kind of letting things slide and The Rock hasn't been doing that at all. Like at all since he turned heel. And so it felt like this proved that Cody can hang. Like Cody isn't just there because he's a crybaby and whatever. It's like no, he can hit you back. Like you can't just come out here and say all of these things. Like I loved how he
Mhm.
mentioned Brock's mom too, because that's what I said. I was like, if he's gonna mention Cody's mom, Cody needs to say something about Rock's mom, but like not like the low ball type of thing. Like just the
I feel
fact
like
that he
you did.
mentioned his mom is gonna piss him off. And it's like that's like the most brilliant thing to do, like if you're in an argument with
You
somebody,
did say that. Yeah.
yeah, like hit them below the belt, but like not really, because it's like you mentioned my mom, so I'm just gonna mention your mom, which is gonna make you mad. But then I
Casually.
don't even say anything bad about her. I say she's a wonderful lady, and it's like, but then that's gonna piss them off too. It's almost like reverse psychology.
Oh, yeah. Why you saying my
So
mom's a nice lady, bro? She helped you
yeah,
chop who? Yeah.